Okay. The answer is also here in Leviticus. Let's see. Il say here, so we're gonna to the 19, the verse 19. So non, il faut pas commencer là, ok, comme ça.
D'accord.
And if a woman have an issue, her issue in her flesh be blood, shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever touch her shall be unclean until the even. Okay, the contact or whatever she touch is contaminated. So is because unclean is the word is tameh, which means is ritually impure.
Impure.
Okay,
What?
so that's the context. And he said here, verse 20 from Vayikra 19, and everything that she lies upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever touch her bed shall wash his clothes, and bath in water, and be unclean until the even. And whosoever touch anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes, and bath in water, and be unclean until the even. And if it is on her bed, or on anything whereon she sitteth, when he touches it, it shall be unclean until the even. And if a man lies with her at all, and a flower be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and all the bed whereon he lies shall be unclean. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days, out of the time of her separation, or if it run behind the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as a day of her separation. She shall be unclean. Every bed whereon she lies, all the days of her issue shall be unto her as a bed of her separation. Whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her separation. And whosoever touch those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bath in water, and be unclean until the even. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall be numbered to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtle or 2 young pigeons, bring them unto the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for her before Jehovah for the issue of her uncleanness.
Yeah.
Thus you, and now here's a point in verse 31. Thus shall you separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not in their uncleanness when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. This is the Torah of him that has an issue, and of him whose seed goes from in and is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of a flower, and of him that has an issue, of the man and of the woman, and of him that lies with her that is unclean. You see here the point is in the, you see the verse 31 say, thus shall you separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not in their uncleanness when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. Okay? The issue here of uncleanness is related directly to the tabernacle. And because the tabernacle, as we have spoken in other time, is a place of set apartness. The tabernacle is separate from the world. In the moment you penetrate the court of the tabernacle, you cannot be unclean to enter there. All is has to do with kedoshim, to be set apart. So we cannot enter into the tabernacle under this condition. Okay. Now the blood issue in the story from Yeshua with a woman who was many years with the issue of blood is related to this uncleanness. Okay, she was separated from the community through her uncleanness, and she has always to warn the people, unclean, 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 because if she touch somebody, or if she sit on something where the other will sit, then they become unclean, according to Vayikra 19. Now, and per default, they cannot go to the temple, and the temple was still existing. They cannot go to the temple to bring the duty or to do what they have to do in the temple. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is what the context of this situation is. Now, at this time, Yeshua came as a prophet like Moshe, right? We know that. He doesn't come as the Mashiach. He came as a prophet like Moshe first, to demonstrate that he had the authority and the right to do things because it was given to him by Elohim. So he declared the woman clean because she touched him. He was the Word. He was the Torah made flesh, and the Torah purified the woman. Okay, so this is now there is this is now a teaching on the purity through the Word, the washing of the Word. Okay, the washing of the Word, because the Word is compared to the water that wash. Okay.
What?
Now, we cannot say that here this time Yeshua was not resurrected. He was not even dead. He was not resurrected. The temple was still standing. So the conformity related to the Torah concerning uncleanness, right?
Yeah.
So we apply the rules because the temple was still there, and all the people who have to go to the temple had to keep the ritual of purity.
Yes.
Okay, to go into the temple, they cannot go another way.
This is the context.
So the context is that they have to keep the way of to remain clean.
Yeah.
Okay, so today the situation is totally different with the assembly. The assembly now, we are first of all, we are all coming together as living stones in a spiritual temple.
Yeah.
This is a spiritual temple. The body of Mashiach is a temple in which Yeshua is a chief cornerstone. Okay, we are all coming as living stones to build this temple. Okay, and this is a spiritual attention. This is a spiritual matter. Okay, this is a spiritual matter. We cannot compare with what was in the first century when the temple was still standing. So now the purity is a spiritual purity.
So we cannot apply this by doing gathering together, that they're women to join during the gathering together, and when they have demonstration.
They have demonstration,
So
but
it doesn't matter.
it doesn't affect because we don't go into the temple. First of all, we have
We have no temple.
We have no temple.
Our temple today is a spiritual temple.
It's a spiritual temple.
We join
okay.
together, as Charles
Yes.
said, right?
Yes. We are in a spiritual temple, and what is also to take note is that we cannot apply things which are not related to the diaspora. We are in a four corners of the earth. We are among the nations. Okay,
Yes.
we cannot apply things which do not apply to the nations.
Yeah.
Okay, what apply to Israel is apply to Israel, but in the land of Canaan, we are not in the land of Canaan. We are in the scattered. You know, we are in the scattered. You know.
So what's happened is a woman who touched Yeshua's garment,
Yeah.
because
He
she
declared-
knows that she's unclean. Why does she
Yeah.
touch him?
Because to understand this story, we have to go to the book of Malachi. The book of Malachi in the chapter 4.
Okay.
It's in Malachi chapter 4. It says, "For behold," the first verse, "For behold, the day comes that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud yet, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that comes shall burn them up, says Jehovah Tsebaoth, that he shall leave them neither root nor branch." And then he say, "But unto you," so that was with the wicked first, "but unto you that fear my name, shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And you shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the sole of their feet, and they shall say that I shall do, says Jehovah Tsebaoth." So now, this verse now, the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wing. It was known in the first century common era that when the Mashiach come, he will be the Son of Righteousness, and he will bring healing. So the lady who came to Yeshua knew that if he is really the Mashiach, she will be healed by touching his garment.
Yeah.
You understand? How do we know that? The Son of Righteousness, because in the old tradition we know that according to Bereshit chapter 1 verse 14, the sun has been created in the fourth day, and people were expecting the fourth days was the year 4000. Okay, the year 4000, which become after that the year 0, because we have common era. Okay, so now in the year 4000, people in the first century were expecting the Mashiach to come.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they know they knew about the tradition and the prophecy of Malachi that the Son of Righteousness will come with healing in his wings.
Yeah.
The wings here refer to the talit of Yeshua, the garment he wear. So this is what the lady, she said, if I can touch him, I will be healed. This is how it comes.
Okay.
So this, we need to know the context in order to understand. If we don't know the context, we will not understand.
But the problem.
Because it was known. We have to imagine. Ah non, commencez pas là. Okay, no. In the first century, we have to imagine that many women were believing that they could be the one who will carry the Mashiach. It was not only Miriam. It was also because Elizabeth, the relative from Miriam, knew that. And many women were expecting, this is what she said, blessed are you among the women. Because every woman in Israel, also in Jerusalem, or in wherever she was potential to a potential womb to bear the Mashiach. You understand? So it is. So in the first century, it was known among the Yehudi that the Mashiach will come. Okay. After that, he has been rejected by the doctrine of man. But this would not hinder that many have believed that he was that he came. You know.
So what can you say about this blood issue for the women that they cannot gather to the? It's a question mark. Okay, it's not really if they can gather or fellowship with the.
You have doctrines. You have doctrines of people who interpret on their own way. But today there is nothing. All the things we are doing is a spiritual matter. Okay, all the things we are doing now after Yeshua is resurrected is a spiritual matter. So we cannot mix the blood issue to the spiritual things. Then I can say to these people who want to enforce this idea, I say, you, when you go into the jeepney, who tell you who sit before you? Okay, then you are unclean. You cannot go into the assembly to preach because you are unclean. You sit on a place where the lady was at the blood issue, and then you cannot go to the assembly. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that?
Well, you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know that the woman before you had a blood issue.
You don't know, but it is a possibility, right?
Of course.
Okay, so you see, and because it is the Torah is the Torah of truth, you cannot come and say I don't know. No, you have to check. You have to check to know if you know. If you don't know, you cannot do. I go to the assembly, I will preach there. You are unclean, my friend. You are unclean. If you are practice your rules, you are unclean. Okay, because even if it is not a woman, if it is a pagan, if it is somebody who is not from the, then you touch the place where he was sitting, he is a tameh. So he is unclean. So you bring uncleanness in the assembly. So it's not applicable.
So now what can you say to the women concerning the blood issue we have? For the
blood issue, what remained for the blood issue is concerning the 7 days of purification. She has to consent 7 days, and when the blood has stopped, then she has 7 days, and after that she can go with the husband again. Okay,
same
that's
for
it.
those who don't have husband also.
What? The same who have not husband, they don't go with a man. So they have a blood issue, and they come 7 days, and then after that they are clean.
A mikveh. Nida, not a mikveh.
Nida, yeah. They are in the Nida, and after 7 days they go and make a mikveh. But the mikveh usually is in the running water. Okay, under running water. You see. Okay.
So it's okay. That's
Your place, having obtained eternal redemption.
so what are you talking
For
now?
if the blood of bulls and goats and the ash of an heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctify to the purifying of the flesh. Listen, if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer sprinkling the unclean, the tameh, sanctify to the purifying of the flesh. You see the purpose is to the purifying of the flesh.
Why are you not in the Hebrew?
In Hebrew, how much more shall the blood of Mashiach, who through the eternal Ruach offer himself without spot to Elohim, purge your conscience from dead work to serve the living Elohim. We go from natural to spiritual. Here, we go to Ephesians, and he say, okay, husband, love your wife, even as Mashiach also loved the assembly and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. You see, that he might present it to himself a glorious assembly, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but should be kadosh and without blemish. Okay, that is spiritual matter. That is no more physical. That is spiritual. So how men to love their wives and their own body, love his wife, love himself. Okay? You see? Yeah. For we are member of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones.
Bones, yeah, amen.
Okay?
So, this is spiritual because you how can you be part of the bones
you see,
in the,
he said, look,
the flesh, the
look
body,
the connection he makes.
the body of Mashiach.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and shall be joined unto his wife. They shall be one flesh. He connect from Bereshit chapter 2, he connect Bereshit chapter 2, 24, and he make now a drash explaining something, and he say, this is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Mashiach and the Kehillah, the assembly. You understand?
This is the assembly
So
of
now
Mashiach.
he's connecting the concept from Bereshit chapter 2, when the man shall leave his father and mother and shall be joined unto his wife, and the two shall be one flesh. He connected to the Mashiach and the Kehillah. The Mashiach is Adam, the last Adam, and the Kehillah is the woman, okay, which represent the Kehillah. You see, which is the bride, right?
Yeah.
And this is, he called that a great mystery, because it is from natural to spiritual. This is why it is a mystery. It is a mystery because it is from natural to spiritual. It has not been understood over 4,000 years until the Mashiach come.
Yeah.
Now Mashiach has opened the eyes from Shaul. He understands that. You see? And he explained it.
Yeah.
You see? To those who want to understand. Okay?
Yeah.
So we see we are now in a spiritual condition.
Yeah, I believe that because now we.
Of course,
it's not possible
it is so. It is so. He say here, if we go just simply to, I will show you 1 Corinthians. We go to chapter 15, and he say, well, he say in 1 Corinthians 15, we can see that. Let me find the place. Okay. Just calm. So I say here in the chapter 1 Corinthians chapter 15, he goes in the first verse 21. He say, "For since by Adam came death, because he said by man came death, it was by Adam. By man, by Adam also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, even so in Mashiach shall all be made alive. But every man in his own order, Mashiach the first fruit, afterward they that are Mashiach at his coming. Then the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to Elohim, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. For he must reign till he has put all enemy under his feet. The last enemy shall be destroyed is death. For he has put all things under his feet. But when he say all things are put under, manifest that he is accepted. He accepted that is Elohim, which did put all things under him, that is the Mashiach. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, Mashiach, then unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him, Elohim, that put all things under him, Mashiach, that Elohim may be all in all. Else, what shall they do with which are baptized for the dead? If the dead rise not at all, why are they then baptized for the dead? And why we stand in jeopardy every hour. Okay? Now, what I want to show is another place. Just wait. Okay, then he goes on, the different body. Okay, and then he say here, in verse 45, he say, and so it is written, the first man, Adam, the first Adam, was made a living soul.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah? Nefesh chai. The last Adam, a quickening spirit. Now he makes the difference between the first Adam and the last Adam. He doesn't say the second, the last Adam. A quickening spirit. Okay? Howbei, that was not first, which is spiritual, but that which is natural. And afterward, that which is spiritual. So first we have the natural, which came with Adam, and then we have the spiritual, which came with Mashiach. Okay? The first man, the first Adam, is of the earth, earthy. The second Adam is the master from heaven. As he is the earthy, such they also that are earthy. And as the heavenly, such they also that are heavenly.
Because it's happened now.
And as we have borne the image of the earthy, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Elohim, neither does corruption inherit incorruption. You see, now he's making a drash to compare the first Adam and the last Adam and the effect into us. We were born into the first Adam, and we go to be transformed into the second Adam, into the spiritual man. This is how it happens, right? You understand? Mm-hmm. So now, you see, we are still bound by the flesh until the Mashiach come back.
Yeah.
But we are spiritual people, because when we follow the Mashiach through the Torah, then we become born from above, born of the Ruach. Okay? And this is the difference. So all things become spiritual, and our action is a spiritual action. Okay? So we cannot do anything. This is what the problem is that we found in Judaism, because in Judaism they try to achieve righteousness by works. But we know that the righteousness do not come by work. The righteousness comes through Mashiach Yehoshua. He has become our righteousness, our justification, and our sanctification. You understand? He is our justification, our sanctification, our righteousness. Not the work we are doing.
No. But because
no, we do the work because it is the commandment of the Torah. The Torah is our way of life. Okay? So it is a way of life.
Okay.
Je dis plus rien, okay?